Hello everyone, I am Alex from alexlancer.com, and in our previous tutorial we finished with creating our basic routes for sign in, sign up and dashboard pages. So in this tutorial we will jump straight to creating our first sign up form, then registering a user, and then we will also see how we can log in inside of our application. So let's get started. Okay, so to sign up, so that to avoid creating all of this from the very beginning, let's go again to the GitHub page, go to my account and go here to CodeIgniter for login. So inside of here, because we have already created some nice looking forms, let's grab them from our views files. So here is the login form. Let's go here and take everything. We don't need the container, so you can either grab the row inside the container or take everything together with container and then just remove it from the VueJS file. So let's go to but why did I grab the sign in, the login, when I needed the register? Sorry guys. So again, let's grab the whole register file without the container and let's go to our sign up. So remove this h1, paste the whole thing inside of the controller, inside of the template. Let me see, something is missing here. So what is missing? We have this div, parsing unexpected. Okay, so some PHP that we have copied. No, not a big deal. So let's remove all the values because we won't be using values. Remove value from email address. Password seems to be fine. So what we also done, actually we need it, but we will set it up a little bit different. We will create this is where we will display our errors, but we will create it as a component so that we can use the same component in different pages. So for now, let's just delete the PHP part of it and let's leave this as it is by giving some dummy text. This is an error. So our button is registered, looks fine. So already have an account. Let's make it a router link straight away. So we have router link to the sign in. So if you already have an account, go to the sign in page and wrap this text around. So let me bring this a little bit more down. So already have an account, that works fine. This here is a submit button, therefore we go to our form and we say that on submit prevent, so on submit.prevent actually will prevent it from the submitting the form the normal HTML way. So it is like prevent default in JavaScript. And let's say here register. So we will create a register method. Let's go here in the export default and create our methods, register, and let's just log out, log in, console log, register. Okay, this looks fine. Now for our inputs, we will have to create a V model. We will have to add a V model so that to utilize the two-way binding abilities of Vue.js. So we say V model, and the first variable will be, of course, our first name. So what I will do is I will go here and I will just paste it to all of our values. So, and here also. Now I will go backwards by replacing every V model with the corresponding name that we need. Okay, so we have first name, last name, email, password, and password confirm. So that looks fine. Compiled. Let's check our sign up page in our Vue project here. So it actually looks fine. So this is our error, which is also not bad. And one more thing that I would like to do is, again, from the GitHub, where we got the form from, the last one, the CodeIgniter for login. Let's go back here to our CodeIgniter root folder. Let's go to public and let's grab some CSS from here and actually take everything, because it is exactly what we want. So back to our project in VueJS project, and where should we add it? Let's add it to the app.view inside of our style, just making sure that the style doesn't say scoped, because this will limit all the CSS only to this specific component. Okay, so again, you see this have added this gray background, and the form now pops out much better, looks much better. Okay, so also our already have an account link also works fine. And okay, of course, let's check if register actually console logs the message. So this method also works. Now let's export the alert component so that we can reuse it later on. And to do that, we will go to here again, back to our sign up, and let me see, let's import it from import alert from /cmp's alert. This is where we will create it, and components, let's create an alert. So in order for this alert, let me see where we have it. So this is an error, and this is where we will put it. This is an error. Yeah, so let's say we will put it alert. Well, it will be displayed inside here, but only if MSG. So the MSG will be the message, our variable. So let's create it here, data return, and let's create our MSG that by default will be false or null. Okay, so if message is null, it means that there is no either error, either a success message, whatever. So inside our alert, we will pass two parameters. So the one will be the actual message. So this is how we pass it. and the second parameter will be actually the class of the either the class of the alert. So either it will be class alert, a success message, or a danger message. So we will also need this class alert defined in our data. Here by default also null. Nice. So now that we have created this alert, let's actually create it also inside of our components folder. So new file, alert.vue, default template, back to our sign up view. Let's grab this code here, alert view, paste it inside. So instead of this is an error, this is where the MSG variable will be displayed, and instead of our danger, let's bind the class here. So we will make it dynamic. So the static part we wrap inside the single quotes, and the dynamic part we just add it as a simple JavaScript. So this will be active class. And in order to get access to these two variables, we have to define which properties this alert has accepted. So the first one was MSG and the second one was active class. Okay. So now if we go, so we have a problem here, sign up view, some comma is missing. So sign up line 9. Let's see. So sign up methods, yeah. Now it should be better. And as you see, the error, the alert div has gone now because we don't have any errors or success messages. Okay, so actually it is time. Yeah, of course, we didn't pass yet our variables for the fields. So we have first name, that by default will be nothing. So let's say we have first name, last name, email, password, confirm password. So let's change it. We have last name, email, password, and the last one was password confirm. So now this looks much better, I think. Yeah. Okay. So in our register method now, whenever it is called, first of all, what we want to do is, let's create a constant form where we will create a new form data. So to this constant form, we will be able now to append any fields we like. So in our case, it is append first name. Yes, so this is the data that we will pass through using Axios to our REST API server. So this first name. Again, let's just copy it several times and say first name. Let's change this to last name. This we will change to our email. This will change to our password, and password confirm. Too long to type it. I will change it like that. So we take away this, and now this is where Axios comes into play. But before we will be able to use it, we have to define it, because up until now we did not set it up. So to define Axios, what we actually need to do is, first of all, let's go in our source folder. Let's create a new folder and name it plugins. So in our plugins folder, Okay, in this tutorial we will have only one plugin, that will be the Axios.js, but it is a good practice to separate this type of files in their in different folders for that would make sense for your project. So our plugins have Axios.js, and our Axios.js now will start with import, of course, Vue from Vue. Now let's import Axios from Axios, and now I would like to create an instance of Axios that we will be using while we are not logged in, and this will help us to avoid typing the URLs over and over again. So let's create a constant no auth. Actually, in one of my previous videos, one viewer suggested to name it guest, so let's name it guest. Axios create. So this is how we define some basic options in our in the Axios usage. So HTTP, this is where you define the base URL where you want to call, where you want your endpoints to be called. So for every request that you will make, this base URL will be added to the front. So because in our CodeIgniter REST API we have this controller. No, we don't want this. We have this controller here that is responsible for logging, for sign in and user registration. Therefore, I've created this base URL for our guests, because remember, guests are the users who are not yet logged in. So this instance will be used whenever we want, either to log in, either to register. So both of these actions are made through localhost/user. So the one is /user register, the other one is /user login. Yeah. So the second option that we want to pass here is content type, and the content type we will make it let me see, application /xwww form URL encoded. So that's I think I wrote a little bit wrong. So we have our base URL. Now we specify our headers, and within our headers we add this line back, because we can add as many headers as we like. So the second header I would like to add is X requested with XML. Let me see. I hope I will not make a mistake here. So XML HTTP. I think it's request. Yeah, request. Okay. So this is our guest Axios instance. So now what we will do, we will add it to be accessible through the Vue object in our components. So to do that, we say Vue prototype, let's say guest, and we say guest. So you will see how we will access it in our components now. And of course we have to export. Yeah, let's export guest. So now if we go to our main.js file, we will be able to add it here, import import guest from /plugins Axios. Okay, and add it to our new Vue project. Okay, so now let's go back to our sign up form. And here, now we can say this $guest. What we want to do, we want to post information now, and we say register. And this is how this Axios instance gets initiated inside of our component without the need to import the Axios itself here. So let's say register form, and then let's say res equals like that. So we will log here res data, because always Axios returns the successful data. It always returns inside the data property of the response. So, and then we will catch if there any error, and we will say this MSG. So remember the MSG for our alert. Let's specify it here in case we have any errors. So it will be error response data, and we have to add there message error, and also our class alert. So this is the class of the alert that we want to specify. Don't forget this in front. In case of an error, it will be a danger class. So this will make it red. And now we can take the exact same setup from the error and add it here. But actually we don't need the response here. We can return an empty object. At least now we don't need it. So this message, you have been successfully registered. Correct? Registered. Okay, so now that you have been successfully registered, we can show the success class alert. So let's see what will happen now. What we will need though to take a look at is actually our console log that I want to show you. So let me open it. Let's go to network. Password confirmed, not defined in the instance, but referenced during the render. Is it something new or something old? Yeah, it looks like it is something old. So let me just use my form filler, and I will click register. So as you can see, we are getting our error message because we have course policy issues. And to fix this issue, we will have to go to our CodeIgniter REST API server and allow the requests from a specific domain that we want to allow it from inside of some sort of a filter. So actually not some sort, let's create a filter. Duplicate the OAuth filter that we already have here, and let's name this options. So rename this also, options. We don't need anything from this line 7, 8 and 9. We don't need anything from here. So what we need though is inside of our before, we will have to set up some headers. So guys, to avoid writing all this again, I'll just copy paste them because I have them here ready that I found them. So this is what you should add to your filter before, to your options filter before method. So pause for a second to type it all. Let me show you all the contents. Come on. So also here is an authorization at the very end. So once you have added this, save this file, and we have to go also to the config filters, add it to the aliases, actually define the alias. It will be, let's say, options and options. And now what we want to do is inside our global filters before, so before each and every request, we want to run the options filter. So actually what the options filter will do, the most important part here is the access control allow origin. I have specified the specific domain of our VueJS app. Another option could be this. So if you would add an asterisk, any request would be allowed. Any request from any domain. This would not be limited to only localhost 8080 as it is in my case. So in our access control allow headers, we have specified some headers that we are using. Actually, we are not using all of them, but this is the list that I found on one website, so I just copy pasted them. Although it did not have authorization and I had to add it myself because we are using authorization in our request and we will need this. Now the methods that we allow also to be passed are get, post, options, put and delete. So, and this part here is just kills the options method whenever it is requested. So let's go back again here and let's see what we actually if we changed anything by adding these options. So where is our console? So what you can do, you can right click on your failed request and you can click replay XHR. And now, as you can see, we are getting status 201. 201 most likely means that the user has been created. And indeed, you can see user ID 2, first name Brooke, Yates, and so on. So, our user is created. What we could do after successful registration, I think we could clear the form first of all, so we can get all of these here. Let's add them below. Let's replace the columns with the equal signs, and in the beginning let's add, sorry for that, how many languages I have here? Yeah, so this. We have some sort of an error again. Yeah, the commas are not allowed at the end of the line. So like this would be just fine. So again, if we go to our registration form, click register, you have been successfully registered, but we don't get the green sign. Class alert success. So why don't we have our green nice looking alert here? Alert undefined. I think the class that we are passing, class alert, this class alert, this class alert. Okay, so let's go to our alert. Okay, so it is not, oh, sorry, active class. No, it is not active class, it is class alert. So if we do like that, it gets green and hopefully red in case we do we have some error. So actually we did not try to generate any error. Let's try and submit an empty form and see what we have, because most likely we will have to change some things here. So yeah, we are getting a 400 error here, which is correct, and it contains some of the errors that are stored as object. What I would like to do though, to simplify a little bit our process and to to make it a bit more fast, let's go to our CodeIgniter project. Let's go to controllers, user, and let's find all this validator get errors, all of the instances. On this particular controller is only one. So what I want to do is I want to implode this, because this validator get errors returns an array of with errors. What I want to do, I want to generate a string from of these errors. So let's say implode. So the glue will be a new line. So let's say a break line, and this will be the array that we pass here. So now if we go to our console log and we will replay again this request, we are getting back the string this time. So let's check the string, why it's not, it should display in our alert box. But let's see why it's not. So this is, yeah, this is CodeIgniter and this is VueJS. So in sign up controller, sign up component, we have our class alert. That is fine. No errors in the console. Error message. No. So message. It is message error, not function console. I don't know where it came from. So error response data, message error. This is how we get the message of the catched error. So let's refresh, open console, run this, again undefined, 118. So error response data. So I have always struggled with understanding this error response. So we have this for sure. So let's just log it out, error response data. Let's quickly go to our network and replay this bad request. So it doesn't show me anything yet. Is it messages? And again back to the console. No, not this either. So okay, let me try. Yeah guys, sometimes you have to You have to just make your own tests to find out why and what is not showing up. So again, clear the console here, replay, post. Actually, why the error is not being displayed? This is what I don't get. So error. So let's just try, and instead of replaying the request, let's just submit the form. And so what was wrong? So by replaying the XHR request, I'm not getting any errors displayed here. But by submitting this form and getting an error, then the error gets displayed. So this should be fine, because as I see, the error gets displayed, as you can see here. So the only thing we have to do, we have to define that this is HTML and not text. And how we do that? We go to alert, and instead of displaying this message as it is here, go inside the tag and specify v HTML and pass this message inside. So now, as you can see, everything is formatted correctly. So one thing that I would like to show you also regarding CodeIgniter, let's say if you would like to modify the name of the field, we can go to, let's say, in our validation rules, and as you see, now we have defined our key of the rule and the value of this rule. So the value actually can be also an array, where the first pair will be our rules. So these are the rules. And now we can also specify the label. So the label will be actually the way you want this field to be addressed. So first name, let's say. I will not do this for all the fields. And if we submit our form, so this is saved, label rules, not rule. So as you can see, first name is now defined the way we have defined the label inside of our first name set of rules. Okay, so we have registered our user. I know that I told you that we will jump into registration and login form in this video, but the registration took me a little bit longer than I have expected. Therefore, let's wrap this video at this point and jump to our sign-in process right in the next video from the very beginning. So see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.